Okay, hi, this is Melody, your Pain to Purpose Accelerator, Melody Kashumba. I am so excited that I was able to come on today and that I'll be able to share some time with you as we talk about moving from pain to purpose. I serve women who have recognized that they have perpetual cycles of pain in their lives. So I help women like myself to stand on their pain and use pain as an accelerant so they can move from pain to purpose. The biggest thing is I share my story of how over time I recognized that I had perpetual cycles of pain, but I never understood the purpose of the pain in my life. So by understanding the purpose of the pain in my life, I was able to change my perception towards pain and thereby move from pain to purpose. The women that I am called to serve are women that have taken initiative to do the work, because there's no gain without pain, right? So yes, we do have pain, but we have to do the work in order to convert that pain into purpose. If it is that we need to get some professional help, some professional counseling, I serve women that recognize that they need to get help, and after getting help and they in touch with themselves, then we're able to work on their perception so they may move from pain to purpose. I also serve women that despite the pain that they have encountered in their life, they soar in their personal life, right? They fly through adversity, not because adversity doesn't happen, but because of their mindset, because of their perception towards the adversity. I also serve women who have recognized that they have deep issues. Even though they've done the work, they recognize that they have deep issues within that are holding them back from moving forward. Because the perception usually is, as soon as you've done the work, whatever work it is that you need, whether it is work, whether for me, there was a time where I needed help, where I needed counseling, and after the counseling, it's like, oh, I'm done. What do I do? But the goal is, after we do all the work that we need in our lives, then we kind of need a roadmap to move from old habits to new habits. Hi, Chrissy. Nice to see you. So nice to join. I was just talking about introducing myself because I'm Melody, a Pain to Purpose Accelerator, and I am called to serve women that have recognized that they have perpetual cycles of pain. Most people may not understand, women like myself too, who've had perpetual cycles of pain. People may not understand people like us, but our pain that we go through is for a purpose. And I am here to help women move from pain to purpose, which is what I had to do in my life. I had to move from pain to purpose. So I'll start a little bit. Today I'm going to talk about pain, but the biggest thing I want to do is first share my story. Most people don't know my story. I was born in Zimbabwe, Africa, to a middle working class family. My parents were by no means wealthy, but they had a mindset of where they were trying to go. They had a mindset of overcoming, right? So I was raised in an overcoming family, but we did not have much. And early on at a young age, I decided I wanted to come to America. And when I decided I wanted to come to America, my parents did not even have the capacity to bring me to America. But the way they raised us, we were raised to believe we could be anything and we could do anything. So in my mind, I believed I could come to America. And over time, I was able to do my paperwork and get everything situated, and came to America based on a belief that I could make it. And even buying the air ticket was a sacrifice. My father had to sell his car. Coming to America, he gave me $80, and I came, and the rest is history, right? But ever since I have been a child, I've always had situations where I always thought, why do I have all this pain? I remember being in middle school, and I remember being bullied, and I didn't understand why I was the one that was bullied. And I remember the one time, after having been bullied for 3 years, and after having had literally intense bullying, I stood up for myself on the one occasion after 3 years, and that was on that day. That person who had been bullying me for 3 years never again bullied me. But that was the beginning of the realization that we have situations in our lives. We have pain that we go through secretly. Nobody really understands the pain that's inside us, because as we're moving through life, we look normal. As we're moving through life, we look like we're winning. But it's in that quiet place when we're alone that we know the pain that's inside us. The reason that we have a hard time moving forward when we don't yet understand why we're in that pain is because we take on the pain, and everything about our life, we see that pain. Our perception towards our life is through that pain, right? As in, I'm not good enough. Why is everybody hitting me? That was what I was. So why is everybody bullying me, right? Why is it that why don't we have money? When I was growing up, I would think, why don't we have enough, right? But part of understanding, and everyone has their type of pain, and what pain is something that doesn't make you feel good, right? It doesn't necessarily mean it's something that people see. Pain is something that does not make you feel good. So I'll also digress into, I've had pain with intimate relationships where they were not the healthiest, right? But it was hard for me to understand that they were painful because you couldn't see it. But they did not make me feel good. So pain is whatever does not make you feel good, and it keeps showing up in your life. We keep handling it the same way. We have a hard time moving forward. We have a hard time showing up higher than we are. We are very intelligent women. We are women that have so much capacity, but when we are operating under that blinder of pain, we're unable to operate at our highest level. My job, the reason I'm called is to help women move through that pain by standing on that pain. And once you learn to interact with pain in a healthy way, you're able to go to a higher level than before. You're able to recognize the things that are not good for you. Now, I'm not going to say it's easy to let go of things that are not good for us because we're used to those things. But we work together. We have to work together to be able to develop a different perspective towards those things that don't feel good to us, so that we don't fall into the trap where we entertain those things. By not entertaining those things, we're able to stand on those things. Every time that thing shows up in your life, you understand what it is, you name it what it is, that I know you are discomfort, you are this type of pain. Now I'm going to look at you differently. The biggest thing is I have to highlight that women that have been through so much pain are very strong women. Why do I say this? I say this because for you to be able to endure so much pain, so much heartache, so much stretching, it takes a certain level of person to endure it over time. So we may not know it at the time, but when you've been through so much, you've developed a higher capacity. You can handle a lot. So when you now develop a better relationship towards the things that cause you unease, when you're able to name them and say, I know you, poverty. For me, one of them is poverty. Poverty, I know you. You don't define me. I'm going to be different. You now are in control. So when you have hard times, whatever that unease is, when it comes into your space, you now stand on it and say, I'm going to do different. I'm going to overcome whatever that is. So when you are able to package your pain in a healthy way by looking at it not as something that's bad for you, but saying, okay, this is something that follows me all my life. I'm going to face it head on. I'm going to overcome it. I may have days where I cry. I may have days where I don't feel like doing anything, but I'm going to get the help that I need for the days that I cry, right? And this is why as women, we need to be supportive of each other. The group Pain to Purpose, Accelerating from Pain to Purpose, is a support group, right? Where we come on those days that we're feeling low and we support each other and say, you can do it, because you're not the only one going through it. You can do it. So as we support each other through this process, you're able to stand on your pain and you're able to start moving towards the higher version of yourself. There's so much in you that's waiting to happen, but pain is in the way. There's so much that's meant to be in your life. You're meant to be serving something. You're meant to be doing something, but that pain is always in the way. But if we say, we know who you are, I know my type of pain, I'm going to stand on you. So as I stand on you, I've named you. You now use that pain. You become upset with that pain to say, how can you think you're going to control my life? Right? For me, I became upset with poverty, and I said, poverty, you don't control my life. I'm meant to be somebody. You're not going to define who I am. And the more I was able to change my perception towards the pain, instead of looking at the pain as my enemy, I looked at the poverty as, I know who you are, and I'm going to use what you're stirring up in me to get better, right? So here I am standing on the poverty, and I'm like, I'm not poor. I'm not who you say I am. And I became upset. So by becoming stirred up with that thing that follows you, that pain that follows you, that pain becomes an accelerant that moves you into a higher level of yourself. You won't even know when you've moved into a higher level of yourself, because you literally switch from being a person that thinks pain is following you for bad reasons. You realize that, you know what? I've had this heartache, I've had this hardship, and I felt a certain way, but it came into my life so I can be different, right? So I can be better. So if I know that this type of pain is not good for me, if I can overcome and not be a friend to that pain, but literally stand on that, whatever it is that follows you, if I can stand on it, when the next type of pain comes that's identical, because the pain is not really different. It will come in different forms, but it's the same type of pain that follows you. So when you step on the pain that you're on and you move on to that next level and you step on the next pain, before you know it, you're now standing on that pain. So if, for me, poverty continues to follow me, but each time it shows up, I tell that poverty that I know who you are. I know you've been following me all my life, but you're not going to define me. For me, it was intimate relationships that were not healthy for me. Today, when I have an interest that wants to put me down, even though, yes, as a woman, I may want to be in a relationship, but I understand the last relationship that I had, that I was not in control of myself, of that pain. I remember that. And now I'm healthier, where I say, okay, it may look good, but it's not for me. So inadvertently, you learn to stand on that pain, so you no longer walk into that pain. Now, the biggest thing is perception. How we look at whatever pain it is that we have. So for me, how I looked at that poverty, there was a time where it was, oh, we're poor. I don't think I can make it to America. But the day I said, well, I'm not poor, because this is just a situation, I can make it to America. Whether I knew I could make it to America or not was irrelevant. The fact that my mind was in a higher dimension meant that every day became easier. So no matter what pain you're facing, right? The biggest thing is, I always say, whatever pain I'm facing, do I need help for it? Okay, am I getting the help for it? If it's professional help you're getting for it, it's a good thing, because then you can deal with the deeper issues that cause the pain. But even if I deal with those deeper issues, how do I handle that next phase of my life, right? So today we begin to make different decisions. You develop a different perception. Now, how do you may be asking, how am I going to develop a different perception to the pain that I am feeling because it's what I've known? You're right. If the pain that you have, you've known it, but you've only known it through the lens that you've known it, right? For me, I only knew poverty early on as, okay, this is poverty. This is what it looks like. Relationships that were not good for me. This is what it looks like. And at some point I thought I was not good enough. I thought I was not good enough. I was told I was not good enough, right? But when I began to look at a different perception, I realized that I may not be good enough in that person's eyes for them, but I'm good enough for me. I'm good enough for my daughters and my son. I'm good enough to be in this life. So I changed my perception not to be about what that person thought or how they made me feel, but my perception to who I was and the people that were around me. Now, we have to realize that any type of pain most times will cause physical manifestations. So it may look harmless to be in, to have a bad relationship with whatever pain you have, but you will sometimes have physical manifestations. So for that, if it's help you need, it's help you need. I noticed for me, I would not eat. I had no appetite. And then my nutrition level was down, but I wasn't taking vitamins. So just basic things like saying, okay, I am down. I don't feel like doing anything. I haven't eaten. So I need to take better care of myself. So by taking better care of yourself, it's not easy, but it's taking one step at a time. You just take one day at a time and you take better care of yourself, making sure you have nutrition, making sure you take your vitamins, making sure you love you. When you love you first, the world will be drawn to you, but you have to love you first. And there's no better person in this world to love you except yourself. You are an amazing person. And we have to tell ourselves this. I had to tell myself, I'm amazing. I'm fun to be around. I am just the best person to be around, right? But we have to do stuff like that. And then surrounding yourself with people that are of a higher frequency. For me, that's a big one. How best can I change my perception? It's hard to change your perception when you're around people that are negative, when you're around people that don't think highly of themselves. But when you're around other people that think highly of themselves, it's doable. Your perception of them is, oh my goodness. And over time, your perception of yourself becomes better. How you perceive yourself draws people to you, right? So if you don't perceive yourself as if you're good enough, people will also perceive that. But when you surround yourself with people that are high-minded, that perceive themselves highly, you become that. You exude that. And that is part of what this community Pain to Purpose Accelerating from Pain to Purpose is about. It's coming together as women and being high-minded. We are not women. As we help each other to move from pain to purpose, we don't put each other down. We never put each other down because we understand that you have value. There is something in your life waiting to be birthed, and that pain has been in the way. But the call to action is this. It is going to be birthed. You are going to walk in a higher dimension of yourself. It may not feel like it, but the more that you become aware of what pain has done to you, the more you know how to handle the pain, the more you know how to confront the pain, the more you know how to turn that pain into purpose. And as you move one step at a time, one day at a time, you begin to pull yourself from this lifetime cycle of pain to purpose. Now, so we all have gifts, right? Aside from the work that we do, there's something that you do so well in your life. There's something that when you do it, everyone just says, well, that's so effortless, right? Part of changing our perception with ourselves is working on our strengths. When you work on your strength and push yourself higher through your strengths, the things that you do good at, right? You become the person that you were born to be. You begin to exude self-confidence. So I challenge you to think about that thing that you do so well. Not the things that you feel you don't do well. Because when we are people that have been through so much pain, we're so hard on ourselves. And that's a fact. We are just so hard on ourselves and we don't give ourselves a break. We do not give ourselves a break. the biggest thing that you have to do is think about that thing you do so well. Hi, Mimi, how are you? I was just talking about pain to purpose, how we move from pain to purpose. And I just got through talking about the different types of pain and how as women we suffer in silence with pain that nobody knows. And as we are in that pain, in that place of pain, how we perceive the pain is what keeps the cycles going. I also highlighted how it is important for us to realize that the pain that is in our life, once we change our perception towards that pain, we're able to handle it differently in terms of the way you look at the pain. Instead of looking at the pain as, I always have the pain, you're able to call out the pain and say, you are pain, I'm not you. And when you have a better relationship with the pain and you call it what it is, and you develop behaviors to overcome that pain, you now stand in control and you use the pain to accelerate you into your purpose. So you stand on the pain. Pain becomes the accelerant. So I was now talking about one of the ways, I talked about the importance of your perception, right? Your perception of yourself. Because when we've been through a lot of pain, we're hard on ourselves. We're the first person who talks down to ourselves. But it's important for us to never be that person who thinks badly of ourselves. We need to always show up for ourselves. We need to always be our biggest cheerleader, because then the world is drawn to that. I also talked about the importance of being in a community of women that are high-minded, women that have a good perception of themselves, because it's contagious, right? You will also feed off that frequency. And the last point I was going to talk about is the importance of working on the things that you're strong in. Because when we're people that have been through so much pain, we focus on all our weaknesses. And I don't know about you, but if I go down the list of everything I'm weak in, it's kind of depressing, right? That's what will get you really down on yourself. But when you look at the things that you're strong in and you focus on your strengths and you build on your strengths, you then build capacity, you then build confidence, right? So no matter what's going on around you, you're winning in your strengths. Over time, you can try to do better with the things that you're weak in. But if you show up in life with the things that you're good at and the things that you're strong in, you're able to move from pain to purpose. So my thing I'm strong in is I'm an encourager. I love encouraging people. I love motivating people, right? But what am I not good at? I have things that I'm not good at, right? So instead of focusing on the things that I'm not good at, I've sharpened the things that I'm good at, right? I encourage people. I am out there and I'm saying, you can do it. But what that has done for me is I live at a higher frequency because I'm always encouraging other people, and I'm so good at that the things I'm not good at don't matter. Now, I know I was back in part of my pain was relationships that were not good for me, right? And during those relationships, I was always told what I wasn't good at, right? They focused on what I was weak in. You're not good in this. You're not good in this. You're not good in this. And that was what I internalized. But part of moving from pain to purpose is you change your perception about yourself, and you do the things that you're good at. You focus on them. If it's things that you know you need to work on, that you're weak at, you can work on them, but you don't show up in those things first, right? So I'm challenging you to look for something. There's something you're very good at, something that you're naturally good at. Something you were placed on this earth to do. So I'm challenging you to look for that thing, to identify that gift that you have, and use that gift to lead your day. Use that gift to lead your way. Bless somebody with your gift. Bless somebody with your gift. And as you begin to bless somebody, yes, that's so true, Michelle. That's so true, my Mofu. Because when you bless people with what you're good at, the world is drawn to you. And it's just amazing. People are drawn to you when you're at a higher frequency, right? So it's no longer about what you're not good at. It's about what you're good at. And before you know it, you are moving in a different level. And I just have to mention that when I'm leading with the things I'm strong in, I am encouraging people. I'm passionate about that, right? Like right now in this life, I am at my most passionate because I love to encourage people, right? So I am encouraging you, and I'm like at my highest level right now where I am just so excited because I'm passionate about it. As I was passionate about encouraging people, one day I woke up and I realized that I was living my purpose, right? My purpose is not something that's out there. This is my purpose. But I found my purpose by working on the things, by identifying the thing that plagued me the most. What bothers you in life the most is usually tied to your purpose. Pain bothered me the most. When I overcame pain, when I looked at pain differently, and I looked at poverty and I said, poverty, I am not poor. I am not poor. You may follow me, but you're not going to catch me because I'm not poor. Problems with intimate partners. I am not rejected. I am beautiful. When I looked at it differently, changed my perception, and then built on what I'm strong at, where I showed up at a higher frequency, and I show up to the world at a higher frequency, at my best, right? I became passionate about it. And I'm at the grocery store, I'm talking to that person. I'm out and about, and I'm just talking to the next person and saying, you can do it. You are so much. You are so much. You were meant for more. God created you for more. When I began to do that, I became passionate about it. And I woke up one day and realized I was living my purpose. What better way to live life in your purpose? So whatever pain that is in your life, you are not that pain. You were never that pain. It was brought in your life as a distraction to take your attention off your purpose. So when you change your perception towards that pain and not look at it as an enemy, but look at it and your attitude towards it and say, okay, you're here, but I'm going to change my attitude. You're not destroying me. You don't control me. You are pain of poverty. I am rich. No matter what you say, I'm wealthy. No matter what you say. So when you change your perception towards your pain, you're able to move through life differently, stronger. Then you focus on that thing you're strong in. Every day, show up strong. Every day, show up strong. Go to bed strong in the thing that you're good at. Bless somebody with it. And what happens is when you're blessing somebody, when you're blessing people with what you're good at, people give back. The world gives back. God gives back. It's just happens that way. Before you know it, this necklace I'm wearing, somebody just sent me, and I have to share this. Somebody, a very good friend that I just encourage, she packaged 5 different necklaces and mailed it to me and said, I just thought I should bless you, right? And she says, I got it, and the Holy Spirit told me I need to package it for you, told me the exact necklace I need to package 5 necklaces, mail them to me. I didn't do anything except just do what I do best, encourage her. And I was so blessed by it, unexpected. And today I was wearing it, and somebody said to me, beautiful necklace. I said, thank you, and mentioned, somebody just gave it to me. But it's because I wake up and I have a better perception of myself. I focus on the positive about myself. I show up, I look at the pain that has plagued me in my life, whatever's followed me in my life to cause me to not be happy, I look at it differently. I don't let it consume me. I now have authority over it. I look at it differently and I stand on it. And then I lead my life in the thing I'm strong in. I encourage, I motivate, no matter how bad my life is looking, no matter how much of a storm I may have, but I just show up at a higher frequency. And I tell you, when you show up at a higher frequency, life does not really have storms. You just show up at a higher frequency. If you're a person that loves to, if you love to just share stories with people, you can just encourage somebody. If you're a person that loves to, I have a friend who she just loves being like showing people where to go, and she volunteers at one of the places where in Tampa where they do a lot of shows, just being an usher there, showing people what to do, right? I have a friend that loves to travel, so she created an agency so she could do what she loves all day, bless somebody with it. But through that, you then attract so much positive coming your way. You attract so many blessings. You attract a higher frequency. You attract people that are in your level of frequency, and whatever has plagued you in life no longer owns you. So ladies, I want to leave this live by saying you are worth so much. There is something in you that's waiting to be birthed. Whatever has caused pain in your life was just a distraction, so you don't see the value, and so you don't see the big thing that's in you. So if you develop a better relationship with whatever has plagued you, and you begin to look at it differently, not so much as, okay, it came into your life for a bad reason, but saying, okay, you're in my life. I'm not going to let you own me. This is my life. You are not owning me. You're not causing pain. And then you begin to surround yourself with positive people. Surround yourself with people of a higher frequency. I actually stay away from negativity. I do. It's just, if I know there's a situation or a people that are negative, I stay away from it because I want to show up higher each time. Now, if somebody needs help, absolutely. But I don't stay in the negative, right? And lastly, find something that you're very good at and take your time. Find what you're good at and move through life showing up at that higher frequency. Push through life with that thing that you're good at, right? For me, it's motivation. So I move through motivating, and I'm an educator, but the first thing I do is motivate. Whatever they need, I help them and assist them, but I always motivate and say, you can be something. You could do something. This is the education you need, and I explain it. But the biggest thing I'm doing is saying you're moving to a higher level. And as an educator, you move people from no knowledge to knowledge. So as I am guiding them career-wise, I'm like, I get to live my dream of saying you can become somebody. And I've had people that come back and they're like, oh my God, now I was able to do this and I was able to accomplish this, but it's just who I am. I knit it into what I do. So even in your personal life, even at your work, even in your family, with your children, you lead with what you're very good at. Whatever you're good at, lead with it. And everybody, as time goes on, you become irresistible. So as I leave this live, I just want to thank you for joining me today. And my prayer is you've been blessed. And my prayer is you're going to move to a higher level. And wherever you are right now, if you're feeling any type of discomfort or pain, it's not who you are. It's just a distraction to who you were meant to be. So I'm calling you out to say, let's go higher, right? Let's go higher. Let's go higher. That's like a hashtag. Let's go higher, ladies. Let's go higher. And I'm going to be showing up and doing more lives in Pain to Purpose. And just for us to be a blessing. And if there's anything you want to hear about, please do not hesitate to let me know. But this group, Pain to Purpose, Accelerating from Pain to Purpose, is for women, because women we are meant to grow higher. So you can be the highest version of yourself in your circle of influence. And ladies, I guarantee you, when you're operating at a higher level, at your highest level, so many doors will open for you. And you will no longer be enslaved by pain. You will no longer be enslaved by perpetual patterns of pain. You will be a different person. You'll be a blessing to your husbands, your children, your community, your nation, and eventually the world. Let's go higher. Have a phenomenal day. I don't know if you have any questions before I get off the live, but if you have any questions for me, I'll just hang on just for a little bit. But please feel free to reach out to me if you'd like to reach out to me. But I am just so excited. I'm just so excited because women are moving to the best versions of themselves, and we're not going to let circumstances define who we are. We're moving to a higher version of ourselves. We're moving to a higher ground, right? And we just, there's so much that is in us that once we take the pain and we know how to handle the pain and we stand on the pain, that woman is unstoppable, because pain stretches you. right? So you have the capacity to stretch right now. You're just waiting for the ignition. You're just waiting for that match. You're welcome, Chrissy. You're welcome, Chrissy. And you were, hey, Sylvia, how are you? I was just finishing up the live. So nice for you to join. But I was just finishing up the live. I spoke about pain to purpose, of how pain is in our life perpetually, but for the reason we don't really understand the reason it's in our life, but it's actually in our life as a distraction to the higher version of ourselves. And I spoke about how we need to change our perception towards the pain to a perception that we stand on that pain and that it doesn't own us. I spoke about leading from our highest place of value, from the highest version of ourselves, leading from what we're strong in and showing up strong to the world, showing up strong to our families, our husbands, our friends, showing up each time. And I also spoke about how I'm challenging the women to go and find out that thing that they're very strong in, what it is that they're very strong in, not focus on their weakness, but focus on what they're strong in so they can show up every day in the highest version of themselves. As we move from pain to purpose, it's just been a blessing being here, and I should be back. I actually won't be in town on Sunday, but I'm going to try to be back. Thank you, Sylvia. Thank you for joining. I'm going to be the next Sunday after next. I will be back live, and I am so excited. Thank you, Mimi, for joining. Thank you, Chrissy, for joining. And Chrissy, there is so much in you. There is so much in you that the pain needs to move. I'm just going to say it. Pain needs to move so the higher version of you can come through. And when you come through, you're coming strong. You're coming strong. And it's watch world. Let the world needs to watch out for Chrissy because she's coming through. The world needs to watch out for Mimi because Mimi is coming through. The world needs to watch out for Sylvia is coming through. And the world needs to watch out for Melody because Melody is coming through. Ladies, have a blessed day. And I hope to see you on the next live, and be a blessing to somebody with what the highest version of yourself, and just see how you will attract the same frequency. Have a good day. Happy Sunday.